Now, as far as musicians go, our first guest is quite simply one of the world's greatest rock stars. She found global fame as the frontwoman of Fleetwood Mac, one of the best-selling rock supergroups of all time, which really is no surprise when you have hit songs like this in your back catalogue. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, she's here with us today, Stevie Nicks! What kind of memories do those songs evoke for you? Because actually, you're one of those bands that we can pin memories to all of your songs, but what are yours?
Me too. What was going on with Lindsay and I was exactly what are in those songs. So when I see them, then I go right back to what was happening at that time.
Are they always happy? Happy times?
Not always happy, but now I can look at them and see a lot more fun and happiness in them than I think I did when they were actually happening. You know, so now they're precious. At the time they were happening, they were just crazy.
Well, yeah, you two were so turbulent, but it created great art, didn't it? So it was kind of like
great tragedy,
no
great
pain,
art.
no gain.
Yeah.
Does it feel like does it feel like it was yesterday to you when you look there? Are you straight back there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Yeah, because, you know, when you see a photograph, then that's great, but you can go back a little bit. But when you see it on film, then that really creates it. Then you really are right back in, remembering kind of what you were wearing and remembering those earrings, and, you know, then you really, it brings it back.
And what about now? How do you feel it's changed now? Do you like it still? Like that business? Singing?
I love it.
Do you still?
She goes singing.
I do?
I love it.
Do you?
Otherwise, I wouldn't still be doing it.
No.
I would have, you know, moved on to some other artistic kind of endeavor.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I love it, and I love performing. I'm a performer, you know. We're all talking about Beyonce. You're a performance artist. If you're a performance artist, you're going to have a lot of trouble giving it up, because that's what you love to do since you were in the 2nd grade.
Yeah.
If you're just you know, like Christine McVie, she's a pianist and she wanted to be one of the boys. So she wanted to be over there on the side. She was not at all unhappy when Lindsay and I came into the group and came in as lead singers, because she didn't want to be out there with a microphone. She didn't want to do that. She didn't want to dance, and she wanted to play, and she wanted to be one of the guys. And in a good way, because she was the only girl that was the great musician that was one of the guys and that was as much respected as, like, the Eric Claptons, you know, and the Lindsey Buckinghams and the Mick Fleetwoods. She was one of them. So she didn't want to be doing that.
Well, you're the focus of attention if you're in the front,
Yeah,
aren't you?
she didn't want that.
How do you feel about that? Is that
Well,
something...
I love it, because, again, I'm a performance artist also. So if you love that, you know, when I was, like, 4 years old, I had a grandfather who sang country music, and my dad, you'll love this, never mind, her. We owned a bar that was right across the street, because my dad started working for Canadian Labatt's and Lucky Lager Beer when I was, like, really 3 years old. And so my granddad I used to stop there on the way home from school, at 4, and he used to put me up in yes, you know.
For you to have a beer?
Well, for kindergarten, like, you know. No, but I used to go into the bar before it opened, you know, and my granddad would sit me up on the table, and I'd be, like, tap dancing, and, you know, and my dad would go, like, oh.
You were always going to do what you do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, last night, Hayley has emailed in. She was in Hyde Park watching you with the great Rod Stewart. She said, "How was it for you?"
It was great. The only thing that wasn't great was the sun, the magnificent English sun that never showed itself for 3 weeks while I'd been here. That was just like this, and it was so bright that I was, you know, it was so disconcerting because it was so bright I couldn't see. But the concert was fantastic. I just kept putting my hand in front of it, which you can cover the sun with your hand. It was fantastic, and we don't play that monstrous of shows that often. We play 8 to 10,000, 10,000 to 15,000 people. That's way more than that. So that energy coming up off that energy is huge. And it's spectacular. I mean, there's no getting, you can't You can't beat it, really. So it was fantastic. And really, I just wanted to come over here and play. So, you know, my record comes out tomorrow.
Yes,
we
new
played
record.
yesterday. I mean, no, tomorrow. Today.
Yeah.
The record comes out today.
Hey.
I'm jet lagged
Today
still.
or tomorrow?
Right. It comes.
It's
is
actually
today
out
Monday?
today. Yeah,
Today's
Today's
Monday.
Monday. Okay, it comes out today. But yesterday, it was coming out tomorrow.
Yeah. That would make sense. That's right.
Dyslexic, right?
Yeah.
So,
It's out.
So it's out, right. So we wanted, you know, I wanted to go on stage yesterday and just be completely rocking and fantastic. And because the record was coming out the next day. Right. So anyway, you know, so I think it happened. It's called, what is it called?
It's in your dreams.
In your dreams.
The album's
Can't
in your
remember.
dreams, and the single
In
is
Your Dreams.
Secret Love.
And Secret Love is a
And
single.
you worked on this record with Dave Stewart, who is just a great British
I wish he was here
singer-songwriter.
with us.
And you stole
in
him
this
away.
women. He would love being here.
He
so
liked.
much.
He
He would
love
love
being
being
on
right
company.
here. Yes, he would.
He's a really bright guy, Dave, and when he dedicates himself to something, he's really, really committed. So you invited him over to your house, and he pretty much didn't leave for a year, did he?
Pretty much. I mean, he did. He went home, but he came like sometimes 4 times, sometimes 5 times a week, and we worked from 3 until midnight. We had catered dinners every night, so we were kind of like being in the 20s, like Coco Chanel and Man Ray and all the artists and the famous writers.
Oh, wow.
That's what we kind of did. So it was like we would call it in America, in the 60s, a happening. It was a happening. It was beautiful. Dave dresses up. So when Dave dresses up and he's filming, you're forced to kind of dress up a little, or you look really
See, my
dowdy
son's
next
like
to
that.
Dave.
So
You know.
the first thing in the morning, he's got a camera in your face.
Yes, he does.
But
And
Stevie,
I
did you
could have
not-
turned that down.
Can I say, you wrote poetry, you write a lot of poetry.
yes.
And as a performer, which is very extrovert, I'm fascinated that then that's very introverted. And Dave Stewart, actually, didn't he start you off with poetry the first
I
time?
gave him 40 pages of poetry in January 2010, and he actually, surprised to me, read it. I was so
That's
thrilled
why he
and
didn't
so
leave,
honored,
Stevie.
you know.
Sat there reading the thing.
read it. And so he came over 2 weeks later, and he said, basically, he's got his guitar around his neck, and he's like, all right, I like this poem. And I'm like, you do, really? You read it? You actually read it? And so he says, okay, let's go. And it's like, dun, 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 let's go. And I'm like kind of sing-songy reading my poem, and all of a sudden, in about 10 minutes, we had written a really fantastic song.
Well, here it is. We've got a clip from the video. So this is what started as a poem and ended up as sweet, beautiful music.
Well, we already passed it, I cried. Ooh, listen to me, my secret love secretly died.
You what?
Stevie said she was twirling her own batons in that.
Oh,
weren't you?
really?
That's again, my mom taught me when I was like really so little, I don't even remember her teaching me. But I'm a really good baton twirler. So, of course, Dave's like, well, let's do some
Any
baton
skills?
twirling. Yeah.
Throw 'em in. Last night, you weren't the only woman playing a major festival. Did you see any of Beyonce's set?
Like yourself, I came home from my set when I should have like taken the shower, washed the hair, done the whole thing over for today, sat on the table in front of the TV and watched the entire set of Beyonce. And by the time, like yourself, it was over, I was like super exhausted. I was like, my set was hard, but this set that I just did with Beyonce was like super difficult. I'm dancing, and you too, right? And it was like, I know her. I have known her since Bootylicious, because she wrote Bootylicious from from my
Yeah.
riff. So 50% Stevie Nicks, 50% Beyonce Knowles. So and I know her from when she was a lot. So that was many years ago. So I've watched her grow up. So I saw her as a little twig girl, you know, whenever that was, many years ago. And she, you know what? What I love about Beyonce is this. Beyonce in person is really, no matter what her scant clothes are, and at 63 years old, I can totally relate to that. I said the same thing. You could have worn a really cute short skirt. I would have preferred it. I'm 63 years old. She didn't. That's what she likes. She's young. But at the same time, what she is she is an absolute lady in person. To me, she is gracious, beyond gracious. She stood there for a second and said, can I just take this in? Because we as performers do not see it that often.
Well, women certainly don't, but I tell you the
And it's
reason...
like, I'm getting goosebumps. And her eyes filled up with tears. My eyes filled up with tears. So it's like that was a beautiful moment. And you know what? I believe in this business, and you girls have it. Your graciousness is what carries you. It isn't how old you are, how young you are. Not me. How young you are, how beautiful you are, how short your skirt is. What it is what comes out of your heart. And if you are gracious, you have won the game.
You certainly have. Thank you so much. Good luck with the records. Come and see us again. Stevie Nicks, everyone. Okay, break time, but stay with us because David Schwimmer's on his way. We're back soon.